Oh, what do you guys think about doing an intro before like the intro starts?
Yeah. All right. Are you going to do it now? Ready? Shannon, take it away.
What's up?
No.
Hey, Vado. Just perfect. I'm ready, love.
Hey, welcome back. We're so glad you're here.
Yes. That was so weird.
Yes. Episode 2. Is anybody else super excited about the fact that we made it through one and now we're coming back for the second episode?
It's been like a whirlwind.
This has been the most fun experiment that we've done, and you guys are the best people to do this with. I've had the best time. It has been absolutely insane the past couple of days because we're recording on a Sunday. We released this last Friday, and it's exceeded every expectation that we've had.
100%. Like, we're like, I'm happy if we get 10, 20.
I know.
Maybe 30.
Yeah.
Like, and it's completely exceeded that, y'all.
Yeah, I mean,
people love us. People love us. They really love us.
A little bit of Sally Field action for the ones that don't. You love me. How has this, I've missed you guys. I literally thought to myself all week, I'm like, wow, I wish that I was like recording with the girls, that we would just do this all the time and
do like a daily podcast. Can you imagine? It'd just be like, we would have to shorten it to like 10 minutes or something each day.
Oh my God.
They would be so over us so fast. They'd be saying, delete.
Unsubscribe.
Hey, welcome to the Quinn-tessentials podcast, episode 2. We've yet to name it, but by the time that you're listening, we already have a clever name. We've decided that the names of the podcast are just going to be Joe quotes. We have a really, really good show lined up today. I think that you guys are really going to enjoy it. And one of the things that we talked about is we have to kind of recognize a little bit of what he has going on. Our boy has been nominated for like a fuck ton of awards, right?
So many awards. I've actually got them jotted down. Our boy has been a busy bean, and he has been nominated for 2 different types of awards. The first one is going to be the Saturn Award. This award is going to be he is running for the supporting actor in a streaming series. He's going to be going up against people from Severance and the Umbrella Academy, Star Trek. Like, I can't get over it. So proud of him.
Yay!
He's having an award show called the Scope Awards. He's nominated for every single one of them.
Every single award.
Every single award. I will just ramble some off.
Stop. Go ahead.
The 2022 Scene Stealer, New Crush, Music Moment for his performance of Master of Puppets.
3 for 3.
Amen. And then he also is running for the vote for the most shocking on-death scene.
Those are the 4 awards he's got? Holy crap, he's going to win all of them.
I hope so.
He's going to be walking out of there like Adele, like at the Grammys, just like
holding his hand. I hope so. Oh my goodness. I love to see this happen because of the simple fact that I heard that he didn't think that the Duffer Brothers casted him properly. And then the world just completely was blown away by him. So it's just so good to see that kind of, reassurance, not just from his fans, but also from awards that he's being nominated for. So that's really cool.
I love the video that you can see of him visibly light up whenever he hears someone say that we loved his performance. He literally looked so shocked. Like, he looked and his eyes were like, they like me? And yes, you're phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, and I've said this all week. I genuinely, with the way that he's going, having been signed with CAA and everything, I genuinely think he's on track to be like truly one of the best actors of our generation because he's so fucking dynamic I mean, he act not only does he act with like his face, he's a full body actor, and then his eyes. I mean, everything the way he acts is just 10 out of 10. So 11 out of 10 even. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about, which I thought was crazy, there's been speculation. I don't even know if it's like confirmed or not, but there's been speculation out there, and fans have officially cast him as like the Tony Stark of an alternate dimension of like a different universe for the MCU. So I spent a long time last week being like, no, I don't want Marvel to get their grubby little hands on him. But I mean, and they're saying how much he looks like Robert Downey Jr. and how much sense it would make. And actually, I'm on like Spanish like blogs and news sources and stuff like that. And I think the Hispanic community has cast him way harder than any other, source, because I've seen like 3 or 4 Hispanic articles talking about him, people wanting him to be the new Tony Stark versus like the one that I saw on Google the other day. So I thought that was crazy. What do you guys think? Do you think he would be a good Tony Stark?
I think he would be a great Tony Stark. I'm probably the one out of the 3 ladies that have seen 98% of his stuff. And I think that he could 100% pull a performance off like that. Because he's very much a character actor, I've noticed. He really dives into the person that he's playing. And I'm here for it.
Are you gonna introduce him like last week?
He's
Is
come
somebody
to your
knocking
door.
at your
Back, Joe.
Joe? And behind door number 3 we have Joe. One of these days, guys. One of these days we're gonna joke about it and he's actually gonna fucking walk in. And then I will literally shit myself. What do you think, Shannon?
I think you make a good point. Like, you're just like, Marvel, like, who's not a part of that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And once you get involved with Marvel or even like DC, you really skyrocket. And that would be great for his success, but also feels like he would be even more like out of reach too. So that's the only thing that I'm thinking about with it. But I would not doubt at all that he would give like a phenomenal like performance. So I really think he would be great as a villain.
Yes. Oh my gosh. He would be an amazing villain. He really would be. Like a Bond villain.
I see him in that pink suit and I'm like, villain.
Yes!
Villain. Those tough mafia guys.
Yeah. Like
But,
like an unassuming mafia guy. Like,
So think of like Tom Hardy.
like that pink suit, but like covered in tattoos underneath that pink suit.
I mean, he could pull off Joker.
Danielle's
But I think in
face.
my mind, I think he could pull off Joker. But in my mind, I'm thinking of like when I saw him in that suit, I was like, oh my God. I could see him giving that look over and then have someone just like shoot somebody.
Why hasn't this happened yet? This is such a like, you have a pink suit and then you kind of like pull off like the jacket a little bit and you show like your like the fact that you're carrying a gun. Like that shit is like so soft and then hard on the inside. Like, I mean, come on. Absolutely. 10 out of 10. Somebody write it in, please. Shit, write it into season 5 of Stranger Things. Make it work.
Ooh, nice segue, Laura.
Oh. Wait. You know what? That would have been the best segue into our theory segment, but we have to talk about the expo.
Yes, that's true.
We have to talk about the fan expo in Canada, but God, that was a really good segue. Our boy's gonna be at fan expo in Canada, and then like they started like appearing like out of nowhere. It was like, it was like Joe and Grace, and then it was Joe, Grace, and Jamie, and then it was Joe, Grace, Jamie, and Finn, and then who is it? Anybody else going? Like,
Not
is
yet.
it just the 4 of them?
Just the 4 so far, but that's like panel. Like if you have like at least 4, they might have a panel.
I
That's
hope
big.
they do a panel. I need the content that we're gonna get.
Also, they have been announcing that they're doing buddy photos. So they're pairing people together that you can get photo ops with. So there are going to be people out there that get an opportunity to have Jamie and Joe in the same vicinity of each other.
That's called a sandwich photo. Jamie's the bread, and so is Joe.
Can you imagine just like standing between them and just like smelling?
I can't. I would probably pass away. I have said this to these ladies so many times that if I were to have an opportunity, which we can't because we don't have passports that will allow us to get into Canada.
I know I have to update mine.
Spend the money to go, and I was walking up to them, I would just pass away. Like, I wouldn't be able to experience it. And I would just, oh my gosh, help me. I've fallen.
I would actually ask them, be like, hey, so I wanted to make it appear like I passed out meeting you because that's what I feel like doing right now. So one of y'all are going to trust fall me and the other one's going to like act like you're asking for help. Perfect. Thank you.
That was amazing. That is such a good idea.
When all reality, you've actually passed out.
I'm going to ask for Joe to be the one to hold me. That way, well, obviously. And then Jamie's going to be like,
What?
Jamie would be like, you cheeky fuck.
And then my boyfriend's off in the corner just like
Shaking his head.
Good Lord.
She goes again.
10 out of 10. What a great idea, Shannon. I hope that happens sometime soon.
That needs to happen. You can't just go up and cuddle them. You got to come up with something funny because that makes it more fun for them too.
Yeah.
Like, because everyone wants to go like, oh my God, squeeze me. Like, no. Pretend I fainted and save me. Thank you.
Pretend I fainted and save me. Put on your acting skills to work, sir.
You've got like a hero complex. You're like, help me, I need to be saved.
And only by you two.
I feel like Jamie would be like, absolutely. I got this.
I feel like Joe likes to play along like with people if they're doing something because he's been doing like these and he's been just flipping the camera off.
Yeah.
Like he's just been kind of following along with whatever the fan is doing. So that's cool.
Yeah. I appreciate that he leans into it.
There's a picture of him out there putting his hand down a dinosaur mouth. Like somebody brought a dinosaur for the picture, and he's like opening it up and looking into it at the London Con. Yeah.
What? I don't remember seeing that.
I'll find it.
Danielle, every time we talk about pictures, you describe a new one that I actually haven't seen.
Yeah, you know those edits where they're like, I bet you these are pictures you've never seen, and I'm like, I've seen them all.
I've seen all.
But Danielle needs to make those. I bet you haven't seen this photo because Danielle has seen it.
Oh my God.
That's so
amazing.
Good.
Just supplying the goods.
Wow.
Quality content from Danielle. Thank you so much.
I know. I expect nothing less. Wait, who pointed out the fact that there's a picture out there like circling of him like wearing a skirt? Okay. Yeah, I thought so, Danielle.
No, he was not on Jimmy Fallon again. It was a rerun. Everyone calm down.
Yeah. Everybody keeps saying that he's going to go back on Fallon on the 23rd, and he's not. Please don't.
You got Shannon over here having a heart attack every time she sees it, messaging us. You guys, he's going to be on again.
I know. I believed it too. I think that's why I'm mad. I'm like, it's not real.
Here's what we were so excited to talk about because we want to talk about theories, Eddie Munson theories. We know that this is something that has been like talked about a lot, but let's talk about it.
Because as I stated, there are about 87 of them out there.
Yes.
And growing.
Yes. And growing. That's fucking right. I live for it though. Go ahead, Danielle. Danielle jotted them down. I really appreciated that. What?
I can't get my camera to focus.
Oh.
Hold on.
I only have 3. I thought we were bringing our own. So that's what I'm going to bring to the table. So speaking of D&D, good segue, girl. One that I didn't write down is just an overall theory that there are a lot of people out there that say that season 5 is going to end with flashing back to the very first episode of season 1 where they're all gathered around the table playing D&D, and that all of the season we've just watched was an elaborate game of D&D, and that it never actually hit.
What?
Yeah.
Do you see my face right now? I was so angry if that's what the fuck happens.
Wait. Oh my God. That's like a cheap horror movie ending.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Like the last cutscene, like epic showdown of whatever is going to happen, and then black screen, and then you'll see some dice roll, and it's the little beans around the table playing Dungeons and Dragons. And all of this was just a figment of their imagination.
It was all just a massive campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, if the... that, I would be...
Wrap your head around that one.
Well, yeah, because but when you think about it... Go ahead, Shannon.
I just wanted to stare evilly into the camera and just show my disgust.
That's like a Game of Thrones ending.
That's funny. Best fuck off.
You best fuck off with that.
That's how I feel about that.
That needs to be...
Oh, yes. Fill it up, mama.
We just named our episode.
Just quick aside. What was that? Smirnoff? What was that?
It's a smeared off, spiked sparkling seltzer. Because I just drank my last IPA and I'm just not happy about it.
Oh.
It's okay though. I always come prepared. Ooh, nice.
I love it. That's a 420 IPA.
Yes, it smells like weed.
Oh.
I wasn't going to bring that theory up though, but you brought it up and I'm like, listen, we've got to say it because it's one of the ones I hear most often about the whole show in general is about this all just being a campaign.
Well, then that means Eddie's alive.
Eddie's not real in this.
That means wait, what do you mean he wouldn't be real? He would be real.
If it was a D&D campaign, it was just part of their story. Like he doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, imagine he was just somebody that they've like, who would be the coolest person to like be the dungeon master, and they just envisioned Eddie. Can you like that would be crazy.
What if it was a Hellfire Club thing though? Like, I'm gonna be so mad. I fucking hope that's not it. I would be so mad.
Okay, another short and sweet one. We're gonna save the longer ones for the end because I'm getting over a sickness and my voice gets tired. This one I like because I was truly affected by the Twilight like variation that they took in the last movie where they killed Carlisle and then come to find out it was just a vision, right? So this one kind of plays on this. So Vecna, whenever I almost called her Wendy. Where's Wendy? When Nancy falls down into Vecna's curse and she's running from him, he gets her cornered and puts his hand over her face. And you'll notice that in all of the other people that he's killed, when he removes his hand, that's when the Chrissy crumble happens, right? But Vecna never moved his hand away from Nancy's face. And so everything that happened in episode 8 and 9 are just a vision of what could happen.
I kind of love that.
The Twilight
scenario. Yeah. Dude, by the way, I would pay so much fucking money to watch that scene for the first time again.
No wonder Joe like panicked when he was told like he's gonna come back. Joe had to be like, oh, he seems dead to me. It's not like I actually didn't fucking die.
But seriously, like that to me could seriously be a theory that could happen. It's been done so many different ways and so many different TV shows and movies that I could see the Duffer Brothers pulling a Twilight on us and then making us wait 2 years to get the satisfaction of finding out that we've been Twilighted again.
I still can't believe we have to wait 2 years. I cannot believe it's going to be 2024. Do you know how much can change?
I'm going to be a different person in 2 years.
I could be blonde.
I could have 2 full sleeves of tattoos by then.
I could have another cat.
I will have to say though, they mentioned, I read something and it was, you guys probably read it too, but they were really confused about why they skipped 2 days after Eddie died. And I think people think that they're going to start season 5 filling in on what happened in those 2 days. What did they do with Eddie's body? How did he get out of the, Dustin get out of the upside down with a broken leg or ankle or whatever it was?
Right.
You know, like there's a lot of unanswered questions. Even not necessarily if Eddie's dead or not, but there's other things. They wouldn't leave him in the upside down, would they?
Maybe he was not there.
See, this is theory aside. I have my own personal opinions because there's just certain closures that I feel like we were warranted in that season finale. We only got to see Dustin mourning. And to me, that hurts my soul. Like, I wanted the moment that if Eddie is truly dead, I wanted to see Robin, Nancy, and Steve running up to Dustin over his body and just like pulling him away and saying, Dustin, come on. Like, it's so sad to say, and it makes me so like tearful when I think about it. But for how much of an arc they gave this character, he deserved more than just a 2-day jump, you know? We got this 2-day jump so we can go back. And in my mind, they've saved him. They got him out. He's in hiding because the town still hates him.
Right.
And he's recovering. And he's going to be fine, everybody.
But why wouldn't they inform his uncle about that?
Well,
because he needs to be protected. They want the uncle to still put out like missing or like, you know, things like that, or maybe even like have the uncle mourn him because he's presumed dead. And they said that at the end of the season, the news anchor guy says, hey, he has been, you know, the prime suspect and he is presumed dead. And so that just kind of makes people stop looking for him. But that actually, to me makes sense, right? That he is alive. They did get him out. He's like in hiding still. He's still Eddie the Banished.
I love that.
Yeah, that they're just trying to figure out what's going to happen until they clear his name. However, the only thing that kind of makes me concerned with that is the simple fact that they're going to do like a time jump.
Yeah, listen, girl, you're so good at transitions because I got one for time jumping too.
Tell me about it. Tell me.
So another theory is I really like this one because I'm very much into Marvel and the Spider-Verse and the multiverse and how there's different ways something can happen. Like, I love that idea when it comes to writing TV shows and movies. So I was kind of scrolling through looking at theories, and I came across this video that talked about the time difference of years that's in the real world and the Upside Down. As we know, the Upside Down is stuck in 1983, which is when Will first vanished. Right. This out in the episode when Nancy went back to her house to find her guns and found that they weren't there.
Right.
So,
excuse me.
If you think about it on two parallels, the Upside Down is stuck in 1983, whereas the rest of the world in the normal world is going on with 1986. So, Eddie was alive in the real world in 1986, but died 3 years in the past in the Upside Down in 1983.
So there's a previous form of him existing in the Upside Down that I see. Okay. I see where you're okay.
Think about it. Bob and Alexi died in real time in the real world. But Eddie died in the past in a place where time can be manipulated.
Oh my God, Laura's face like, what?
Yeah, I'm malfunctioning right now.
This video makes me wonder if they're going to use that 2-day time jump that we were just talking about in their favor. Listen, it made so much sense a second ago.
Please keep that in there. That's so fucking good.
Yay!
Like it makes sense.
So I think that they're going to use the 2-day jump to their advantage. They're going to come from the real world back down into the Upside Down, and they're going to be able to play with time to be able to grab him and be like, "We don't need to run today. It's fine. You can run another time." Because they've clearly gone back since this whole situation has happened. Because Max is in the hospital, coma, chilling, God knows what. It's already been done. That portion has already been taken care of, so they can maybe go back and like play with time. I don't know.
So I have a question. Since I haven't finished it, why is Max in a coma?
Shannon.
I'm almost there. The last episode. That's it. Just the last episode. I'm on the last episode.
We're not going to tell you why Max is in a coma.
Hold on. I'm getting an Amber Alert.
Uh-oh. We won't get one because we're not in the same state.
No, we won't.
Child abduction. Look at my work background on my phone, though.
Eddie.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh,
Daddy.
he was so cute by the lake. That, honestly, that scene of him talking, like, about, like, you're asking me to go into Mordor. Like, that whole monologue was beautifully done. TikTok is not doing that scene.
No. Justice.
With Dustin jumping up and down because he's excited. Oh, my heart.
I love the dynamic between like Dustin, Steve, and Eddie. And I love that Joe called himself Gaten's side Joe.
I know.
I love that. He's just like, I don't want to interfere with the original like relationship, you know. Just so cute. Anyway, sorry, that was an aside, but that's fine. You don't have to tell me why she's.
No.
I mean, I can give you 2 words to tell you, like a little hint, but it'll give it away 100%.
Vecna curse.
They alluded to it already, so like,
right.
I got 2 other words for you: the Chrissy crumble.
That's what I was gonna say.
Can we also talk about something, because you brought up a good point and I saw somebody talk about this on TikTok and they were like, Master of Puppets came out in 1986, so technically Eddie played Master of Puppets like as the first person ever to play Master of Puppets in 1983.
Yeah, they said that if this was like a real
amazing
thing that was actually happening, was it came out and he would have learned it in 2 weeks.
Yes!
Also, the thing is though, if he's a musician that hardcore, I have known musicians that can hear something and know exactly how to play it.
Yeah.
Their ears are that good that there's like, they're like, how did he learn that? I'm like, how did he? Musicians are like miracle workers. They will hear a song and be like, I can play that, and they'll just play it.
I lived so hard for like the moment in which, you know, when Metallica was playing at Lollapalooza and like Eddie was like in the background. Can we also talk about that? Can we also talk about that? Because I was texting Danielle like a mad person. I don't think, Shannon, did we know you by the time Lollapalooza was around? I don't think so.
No, I think it was just, I think we had like just met shortly after that happened.
Yeah, we hadn't formed like the group yet, but it's so freaking funny because I was exhausted and my sister was in town and we were doing things and, you know, we were like going out and drinking and doing all these things. And then Friday rolls around. I was like, I can't do anything. Okay. They're going to bring, I can't even say.
I need you to talk about what you said in that TikTok about Lil Joe and his baggy jeans coming out and playing Master of Puppets.
I can't. I streamed the entire fucking concert. Because I streamed the whole thing. It was so past my bedtime. I was so fucking exhausted. I was determined to watch them play Master of Puppets. And I was so clouded by my obsession with Joe at the time that I legitimately thought Metallica was going to bring out fucking Joe Quinn to play Master of Puppets.
Can I just say he probably, I would guarantee 100% they offered it to him. Hey man,
he probably was like, fuck no.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, no, because he's so humble. He doesn't realize how good of a guitarist he is. And they were just gonna have him play rhythm. That's fine. We got Kirk Hammett. He'll solo.
We don't need you to do all that.
He will solo for you. And Master of Puppets is not even an easy lick to play. That riff, that's not even an easy riff to do. I play guitar. I'm like chords. Good on Joe for actually learning a metal song on guitar.
That's
for
amazing.
A show. Yeah.
I wish though that you could have been on a fly on the wall for me in Laura's conversation, because every other song we're like, it's gonna happen. Is it happening?
It's gonna happen now.
We're happening now. Feverishly texting each other like, this is it. It's gonna happen. And then they played it and it showed up on the screen and we didn't text at all during the performance thinking it's gonna happen. And then afterwards I go, well, I mean, that was kind of cool, but now we're tired.
Now I'm tired and I'm like over it. I'm like, I need to go to bed. I'm so done.
He was probably there.
I'm sure he was.
Watching on the sidelines and
Right.
I just hear that song, Go Little Rock Star, whenever they played his little video. Can you imagine how outrageous that probably felt to him to be just
jamming with Metallica and just giving him like a forever backstage pass.
Yeah.
Right. And they gave him the guitar. because he wanted to take the guitar, remember? And they not only did they give him the guitar without like being, what do they call it, like nailing it in place. They gave him a brand new guitar that's exactly the one that Eddie plays, and then they signed it for him.
And they even said a little fangirl moment. They're like, we can ruin it for you. And he's like, okay.
Well, would you please? I would too. Absolutely. My God. I love that they did that way more than bringing him out on stage. Can you imagine, like, the most metal, one of the most metal bands ever. It brings out this, like, little, 5'10" guy, like, hey guys, I'm here to play Master of Puppets. Like, sorry. Hello, I'm here to play Master of Puppets.
I will tell you, I want to know because it had been probably a week or so since we had any new Joe content. Like, we were thirsty.
Yeah.
Kind of like how we are now.
I'm going to drink. I'm thirsty.
I had settled in. It was Friday. I had ordered myself some sushi and a kimchi salad, and I was like, I'm just going to watch some TV. I was scrolling through TikTok, and I saw hi, I'm at Lollapalooza, and I'm like, what? Like, I literally hyperventilated because I couldn't put two and two together that, like, he was posting a video, let alone at Lollapalooza, and then he showed Metallica, and I go, this is happening. This, like, he actually.
This is so much better than.
I was silent I rewatched it like 6 times.
Yeah.
I was like,
well, it looks back. Remember, like, during the Access Hollywood video, he was like, he's like, are you free on Thursday? And then he's like, no, I'm not free on Thursday. And that's literally what he was doing on Thursday. Jim.
Oh my God.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Full circle. That was so cool. Anyway, oh man, we have more. Oh my God, we have like another theory. Like, we gotta talk about the cast
more
theories.
We will touch on the cast theory, but I wanted to save that one for last because it's probably the most well-known theory. This one is one that I've heard a lot as well. So, beginning of episode 8, when everybody's looking for music, Eddie screams, "This is music!" He's holding an Iron Maiden album, and on this album, there's a song called The Trooper. The first line of that song is, "You'll take my life, but I'll take yours too." So that alone is a theory in it.
I just got chills, bro.
Yeah.
And I read that
so
song.
beautifully.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. That alone makes me just dive into all of the other scenarios on if he did live after they left, because Dustin didn't check for a pulse. He just automatically assumed that he was dead. And they clearly had to, from what we're thinking, he's still down in the upside down, fending for himself, doing God knows what.
And upside down. Sorry.
I keep forgetting that you haven't finished it, Shannon.
It's okay. I kind of know what happens, but watching it, like watching the actual show and the scenes, I'm getting way more context than TikTok will ever fucking give me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Another point with this same idea is Iron Maiden's mascot is actually named Eddie, and Eddie is a zombie character. Yes. He's a person of the undead.
Yes.
And on their 1986 album, their cover to the right of Eddie on the wall is spray painted "Eddie Lives."
Eddie lives.
And we all know how the Duffer Brothers love to foreshadow. Like, they sprinkle it in everywhere.
I love this.
So that to me just makes me want, and there's so many theories based around music in general. You can go and search Eddie theory, Kate Bush, and that whole album is literally Max and Eddie's fate on that album.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
And there's one that's supposedly about Max while she's in this coma that Kate Bush wrote. That is what her mind is thinking while everyone else is out living their life. It's insane.
Oh my God. They do everything with such intention. That's the thing. Whenever they were interviewed and they were asked, is Eddie dead? And they were like, yes, Eddie is dead. But they didn't say, anything beyond that. And I understand that they had this they talked about like how he was a doomed character from the beginning because he lives in a town that doesn't really love him and blah 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 and this, that, and the third. And I kind of resented that because it kind of gives the impression that like, you know, underdogs and in a town don't necessarily have like a good outcome. They're not meant to have a good outcome. And that just to me seems like something they wouldn't necessarily fully do, right? Like they wouldn't double down on that so hard. But I love the idea of, you know, whenever they did another interview, they said, you know, that Steve was meant to die in season 1. And they said the show is evolving, the show evolves, and they might have like an idea of it going in one direction, but then as they write it, you know, it kind of takes a life of its own. And not for nothing, but I think that that people have written enough.
Well, and I don't think that they, in their wildest dreams, thought that the world was going to circle around this character that Eddie is and adore him so much. And the certain love that we have just forced out into the world for him is outrageous. And so my only thing that I want to say to the Duffer Brothers is you always tell us that your script and your writing is always changing, so you can change that Eddie died and you can bring him back. Give this boy a happy ending.
He deserves it.
I literally, us talking about this made me think about when Jon Snow died.
Jon Snow.
And everyone was so I cried when he died.
And they ended the season that way. Didn't they end the season that way?
And then everyone he goes on all these talk shows talking about whether he's alive or not, blah, 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 coming back, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like fucking part 2 for Joe.
Yeah, it's very, very similar in what we're going, like our generation, we grew up with Game of Thrones. And so it's very similar in the parallels that we're walking through right now, because we're living through it again with Eddie on Stranger Things, because that episode ended very shortly after he died. And all of the interviews are you going to live? Are you coming back? And it's very, very similar.
Harrington needs to reach out to Joe and be like, do you need somebody to talk to, mate?
Well, the thing is, like, Kit literally got pulled over and the police was like, I'll let you go if you tell me if you're alive next season. Does that not sound like Joe's story when he was kept at immigration and they're like, you better live?
It's wild. It's so wild.
I can't imagine. Like, oh man.
I hope that's a loophole in their contract to talk about things. Be like, if you're in the moment of almost being arrested, tell them.
Yeah,
like,
I know, right? If it involves legal action, sign a contract to like not tell people, but then like the police are trying to get you. It's like a catch-22. You're kind of screwed either way.
It's like, I'm telling them. I'm telling them.
I'm not going to jail. Guy who was talking about like pinning an actor and how he doesn't really have anything lined up or coming up on his IMDb, and it's likely because they've contracted him like, and they've pinned him to potentially come back for season 5, but they haven't necessarily confirmed anything. And I thought that was like a really interesting little insight into how that works.
Yeah, because it was like that horde thing, right? Or hoarders, or some weird like thing, and then that was it. And you would think someone at his status right now, he'd be signing up for something like.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got to be in negotiations for a fuck ton of shit too right now.
Let's chat about our last theory. It's the Cass theory, what everybody is very much aware of. I'm just going to give a little background on who Cass is, and then we'll jump into what we think.
Oh my God, you're so good at this, Dee.
Thank you. You're like, I'm so foggy today, but you're so on it.
I was
probably really buzzed right now. I mean, you're probably buzzed too, but I'm really feeling it, and I'm just like, please just tell me, Danielle, talk to me.
I'm happy to be of assistance. In Dungeons & Dragons lore, Cass is a human vampire who uses a shield and a sword as his weapons. So if you think back, what weapons did Eddie have when he was fighting the bats? A shield and a sword. Mm-hmm. He is the most trusted lieutenant of Vecna, who after many years of loyal service ends up betraying him. So fans are theorizing that because we don't know what happened to Eddie's body, we just assume that they left him in the Upside Down, that Vecna could somehow resurrect Eddie and appoint him or use his body as his right-hand man. A lot of people are also stating that the Duffer Brothers have said multiple times that you cannot die from the bite of a bat.
Yeah.
You can eventually bleed out, but the bite alone will not kill you. So the theory is that Eddie will become Cass, the vampire, the right-hand man to Vecna, whereas Cass will eventually turn on Vecna and defeat him.
So that's interesting. So there's like two sides of this all the time, and this is the one thing I always see is that Eddie's gonna come back as a vampire, which I think is like such a stretch because I mean I don't know that I fully think he's gonna come back as a vampire. What do you think, Shannon? Oh wait, Shannon hasn't. Shannon hasn't.
She knows he dies. She knows he dies.
I know he dies. I just don't want to watch it faking happy because I don't want to faking cry.
It's really sad, dude.
I know he's a good actor, and like I remember like seeing clips of him just smiling through it because of Dustin. But in the moment, you know that he's fucking angry that he's dying. Like he's pissed that he's dying because he wanted to be the hero and save. He probably in the moment dying, he doesn't feel like one, but he is.
Oh my!
I'm just reliving it in my head right now, and I just got so sad.
I'm sorry.
Wait,
I'm sorry.
Can we touch on that? Because that's so amazing. Like what you just pointed out is such a good point, right? It's in that moment, he probably didn't really feel like a hero. He felt like he failed.
Oh my God.
And so he needed that reassurance of like, hey, I didn't run away this time, right? Oh my God.
I have actual tears in my eyes.
Oh, hug you. I hug you.
God, way to just like
I'm sorry.
pound my heart
I'm
back
the one who
there.
hasn't even watched it.
I know, just twist the knife.
But I hadn't even watched it, and I found myself watching the death scene on TikTok crying. Just the
He
clips
did such a good
enough
job.
is enough. Yes, exactly.
He did such a good performance. It just like irritates the shit out of me how good it was. Like, but I mean, it's just that character. It was made for him, and he. But that's the thing. It was made for that. He made it into like for himself too, because you see there was like another guy who was auditioning for Eddie. That was his audition tape was leaked, and I could not have it. No, I mean, look, it would have been like a different take on the character. I'm sure they would have developed it completely differently or whatever. But I mean, that I guarantee you the story of Eddie would not be taking the direction it could potentially take in season 5 if it hadn't been Joe Quinn.
I think it would be pretty sick though to see him come back as a vampire. I've seen some edits on TikTok and I'm like, I'm attracted to this.
So, as you were talking about the cast theory, so it is 1983 in the Upside Down. Mm-hmm. What if Cass is responsible for some deaths during the time?
Like,
oh, whoa!
Because he is Vecna's lieutenant as like a revenge thing.
What if he killed like Barb?
Well, that was a Demogorgon for sure, though. I thought, like in the pool, right? But I'm just thinking, I can't remember everyone that's like fucking died. But what would he send him out to do besides kill?
He could have been the person that coached the Mind Flayer into Billy in the real world. I could see that being a thing.
What if, oh my God, what if he was the first person that Vecna took over and then...
Well, as she was explaining it, I was just thinking like, well, what exactly would Vecna set him up to do as his right-hand man? Like,
I could see him...
You know what I mean?
Because yes, okay, I see what you're saying now. I could physically see him in my mind being the right-hand man, coming back and being like, hey guys, I'm alive, but then like slowly going after the people in the group because they think Eddie's back, but he's actually running under the control of Vecna and going after Dustin and going after Steve And
oh
then,
my God.
And then can you imagine, like, say in a terrible world that's never going to happen because it makes me sick to my stomach thinking about it, say he gets to Dustin, and then that's where he's like, absolutely not, I can't do this, and then he kills Vecna.
Yes.
Like, Dustin will be the one
to appeal to his humanity.
Yeah.
I have a question. Does the lead jock guy, asshole, does he die?
We're gonna let you wait for that.
Yep.
Jesus, because that answer is gonna help me think that Cass gets to kill him.
We're gonna wait for you.
Okay, by your reaction, he clearly died in season 4, so it's fine. Okay.
But no. Just no.
Just let us know when you hit the end of the episode and what your thoughts and feelings are.
No, we're gonna get blown up with text messages. Like, that's just like, I can't wait. We were just talking about something else before we started recording, that how he was supposed to be number 10.
Yes.
Oh yeah, let's talk about it.
So he had mentioned that, you probably don't recognize me because my head was shaved or my head was buzzed. And then there's a lot of people talking about he always has a watch on his left wrist, which is where the tattoo typically is for all of the gifted children. Right. Shannon brought up a point. Well, he ends up taking it off at Skull Rock and throwing it to, I keep wanting to call her Wendy, Nancy, throwing it to Nancy, but then she throws it right back and he puts it back on. Another thing that they're saying is he wasn't at all in the slightest thrown off about Elle having powers. Like, he made a comment about, so she's a superhero or something along those lines. Hold on, my sister's FaceTiming me. I can't talk to you, I'm podcasting. Okay, bye.
Oh my God.
So I one thing that I pointed out is that in episode 1, when he's talking to Chrissy, he was talking about how they were doing the middle school talent show and that he had a buzz cut at the time and people kind of leaned into that too. But my thing is, he's 20 years old, right? He's been a senior. This would be his second or third time at being a senior.
Right.
So if Chrissy's a senior, she's also about to graduate, and they were in middle school at the same time, he would have been 8th grade and she would have been in 6th grade, right? That would have been 6 years ago. And number 10 was there in the lab in 1983, which is only 3 years before, obviously, when Chrissy and Eddie are having the conversation. So that's, if he were 10, then that would have had to take place like before 1983 or even 1981. I mean, it just, the timeline of it just doesn't really line up to me, because if you look at 10. So what happened
to 10 was in 1983. That was confirmed in that was the year that happened.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Because
okay, I just couldn't remember when I watched it. Okay.
Yeah, although, did that line up then?
Is that the year that happened, Danielle?
That's oh my God. Wait, what if that is a good point? What if all of that happened at Hawkins' lab like way before? I love that we're figuring this out like in real time too.
When did number 10, or what year did number?
Are you Googling it?
Yeah.
All right, I love that for us.
Look, we thought we came in this, prepared, but we ended up having more questions than we thought, and
yeah,
it's fine.
That's fine. Can you imagine if each of us would have brought theories and Danielle came out here like guns blazing with like her theories? Like I love it. She eats her
As she eats a Cheez-It, yes.
Just sitting back enjoying my break. That's a theory, though, that I never was really able to jump onto. Mm-hmm. It's just the timelines don't add up. It's just there's too many what ifs. Whereas, granted, these other ones are theories too, and there's a bunch of what ifs, but stuff lines up in those.
Right.
There's documented forecasting. There's things that they've talked about in previous seasons that are coming back into this season.
Right.
They literally mentioned Cast the Bloody Hand in the episode of the Hellfire Club.
Yeah.
And then there's also a close-up of Erica painting Cast the Bloody Hand in one of the opening scenes of an episode. Like, you can't just draw that much attention to certain things if you're not going to play back on them.
It says here, I'm on Stranger Things Wiki, it says on September 8th, 1979, Ten was practicing remote viewing with Dr. Brenner. Remember, that's how the conversation started. He visualized the sun. It says 1979.
How old was he supposed to be in the lab?
It doesn't say, but how old, so if he's 20 in 1986, how old would he be in 1979?
12. Wow. Maybe.
He'd be too old.
He looked
12.
That kid looked
That kid
12.
looked 12.
He looked 12, but I guess I can't math today. You guys are right. COVID brain.
And then the other part of it was that Wayne was like, Wayne is to Eddie what Hopper is to 11.
Right,
So
he
I
says
guess
uncle, but I mean, that doesn't, I mean, the only way he would have his same last name is if his dad was also Munson. So it's like his dad's brother.
right.
Unless that is his birth name, but otherwise is some guy who adopted him and found him.
This is fascinating.
Fascinating. And we could keep going on and on and on about these theories. There are so many of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all I need to say is the Duffer Brothers just need to get their heads out of their asses and give the people what they want. Okay?
Well,
They want Eddie
listen, if
back.
they run into a wall, there's plenty of potential options that people would love to be proved right about in the future.
Yeah,
So
100%.
And I don't think they're going to run into any issues writing it, but yeah.
the world is literally writing the script for you. So if you get writer's block, just do a little clickety clackety on Google and you can find some inspiration.
I have to say, though, I've been obsessed with vampires my whole life. If I could just see blood dripping from Joe's mouth, I would fucking implode.
I would evaporate.
Implode.
I would evaporate. That has been such a big turn on for me. Like, I'm like, oh my God. If I see him just like tear into someone's jugular and blood's dripping, I'm like, fuck.
I remember the first time I was watching The Vampire Diaries, and I've always been a Damon kind of girl instead of a Stefan kind of girl. And I remember the first time I saw him tear his mouth into somebody's jugular, and I literally was like, oh, yes, please.
You were like,
I'm like, I'm here. I don't know how I would handle, I don't know how I physically would handle that situation. If I were to like be sitting on the couch, even 2 years from now, sitting on the couch, watching the season premiere, and if they were to even think about going down that route, I don't think I'd be able to compute what I was seeing on the TV.
Let's rewind. Let's rewatch that.
I would reboot, and I'd be like, I didn't just, that's, my mind is playing tricks on me.
no.
Listen, I'll be 34 when the new season comes out.
I'll be 32.
I'll be 32.
You guys are little babies. I'm like the mom.
Shut
of the
up.
group.
Girl, by 2 years, be quiet.
Yeah, I physically don't think I would be able to know how to handle that. I don't know if I'd be able to process what was happening in front of me. If I were to see blood dripping, I'd be like...
And then his eyes are all like bloodthirst and like red. I'll be like, done. Done.
Yep. Good shit.
Me just super excited for the new season.
Listen, if anybody's out there for casting, at the very least, cast a man as a vampire at least once throughout his career so Danielle can get her fix, please. Because
Help a Danielle out, okay?
help a Danielle out. 1-800 help a Danielle out.
They literally recorded Interview with the Vampire, the series that's going to be out in October. Imagine if they did like another season and then he plays just like another vampire.
Listen, I'm shaking. I need you to stop.
You guys, I love the way the direct. This is gonna be our best episode, just so you know. This has been so good. It's so fucking good. I mean, I think we're like way past our time, but we still have to talk about Mosquitoes because we watched it.
Yes, we did.
We watched Mosquitoes. That shit was so good.
It was so fascinating. And Joe isn't the only person that we recognized. It was the other girl that played the aunt. She is actually
Olivia
a famous,
Colman.
Actress now too. Yes.
I mean,
The Crown, and a whole bunch of other BBC TV shows that I recognize as well.
I mean, super accomplished, and she was so fucking good in that play.
Funny. Funny and quick and just really good.
Well, she's always had like short hair when I've seen her. So the fact that she had like long, curly, beautiful hair really just like, to me, it was like I couldn't place her until I found out who she was. But the play was amazing. And at first I was like a little, because I didn't look up what it was about. So we kind of like figured it out.
We went
as
in
we were
blind.
watching. Yeah. That's kind of my favorite way to watch.
We went in blind looking for Joe, and here we are.
Where is he?
And can we just talk about how beautifully written his character was? Because I think that we figured out that he's a bit on the autistic side in this play.
Yes.
And he did such a good job portraying that spectrum in a character.
Yeah.
And it's just another example of just how much he dives into the characters and the dynamic that he holds when he acts. Because it was such a believable type of interaction between him and the other people on the stage. And for how small that stage was, in the auditory and the visual effects that they added, it was phenomenal.
I really appreciated that, for sure. So I like the metaphor of the two sisters. So Joe plays the son of one of two sisters. And in this play, they are in Geneva, I think, in Switzerland. And they're scientists. And I forget what it is that they were working on. But his mom is super smart, is a genius. He's basically a genius. And then the mom's sister comes and visits. And it's this amazing, play about chaos and order. And you watch the scientist who is dead, who's technically dead. It's almost like a memory of him, talking.
Right.
But he is Luke. His character's name is Luke. He is Luke's father. Which I am your father. Anyway, I had to. He has a monologue about chaos and order and about how those two things are so different, but they also are so complementary. And the play is about what happens to order when chaos comes to visit. And the best part about this is that Luke, or Joe's character, is the perfect combination of chaos and order. He is like the product of chaos and order. And
but isn't that what being on the spectrum is about? Like, there's so much chaos going on that there is still a wave of logic and reason weaving between the chaos, because you can tell by his body and the way he's acting that he is on the spectrum, but he's completely sound in everything that he's communicating. So it's like he's very high functioning. His character, very high functioning.
Definitely high functioning.
Yes.
Yeah. It was so well done, for sure. I mean, if you ever get a chance to watch that play, and if you are into theater or something, it is on the National Theatre website from England. And I actually took advantage of the fact that we had that subscription, because Danielle signed up for it, and I watched a couple of the plays that they had. I mean, the Jane Eyre rendition that they did was amazing.
Love Jane Eyre. Are you serious? It's on there?
It is so fucking good. Oh my God.
Andrew Garfield's new play is on there too.
Andrew Garfield's?
Mm-hmm. I can't think of the name, off which he be looking super good lately.
Let's figure that out. I would like to watch. How long was that subscription? Seven days?
7 days.
I'm gonna sign up for it for a month. I'm actually gonna pay for it because I feel bad, but I'll send the login to everybody so we can watch Andrew Garfield's play, because like it's Andrew Garfield, you know what I mean?
But listen, I don't want to ruin, and I can't even go into detail about it because there's probably a bunch of people out there that haven't seen it just because it is through a platform that isn't very well known.
It's not very accessible too.
If you're interested, again, you just Google National London. What is it?
It is National Theatre Home is the name of the app.
And I believe it's like $7.99 for 7 days or $14.99 for the month. And play alone, Mosquito is worth the $7.99.
It's so good. It's so good. So,
and I want to talk about the ending, but I can't because I don't want to spoil it for people.
If you like, I can understand British accents. I've listened to like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones like my whole life, but they speak very heavy, like thick British accents. So put your subtitles on.
It's kind of like
when
Cockney.
You're watching. A little Cockney, yes. So if you're American and not used to hearing that kind of accent and that theater realm where there's like kind of some echo. It might be a good idea. So
that's our take on this week's performance.
I think this week we'll pick amongst ourselves what we're going to watch this week, but I would really like it if some of our listeners started kind of joining in and ideas on what we should watch next. It can be anywhere from, if we can find other plays that he's been in, other movies, TV shows. I have seen, like I said, 98% of it, but I am more than willing to watch them again with the ladies. I personally enjoyed Howard's End so much.
I want to watch that.
It's so good. So I'm looking forward to being able to watch that. But I think that what should we watch this week, ladies?
Let's do Howard's End.
Okay.
We could do Howard's End. We could also even, like, because we've talked about Overlord and Game of Thrones, like, we could talk about the mini cameos he's been in. That way you can kind of be like, little this, little that, little that. And then we can, that way we can give more time for, like, Howard's End or the Dickensian, however you say that. Dickensian. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Dickensian.
I love it.
Because that role on its own needs a good segment. So,
we can even put time wasters.
Yes.
Time wasters.
Ralph.
Such a cutie. I just want to give him a little hug.
Oh, isn't it God. Wizard?
Yes.
Aren't they wizard?
Who wants cocaine? Sorry. That's my favorite line.
There are a few roles that he's played that have been on the smaller side, so we can probably bulk some of them together because he is only in the first 2 episodes of Time Wasters. So,
which, like, I thought it was so crazy because his character was so fucking cool. And here's the thing, and we need to talk about this because I genuinely, if you didn't know it was Joe, right? If you had never seen Joe before and you only watched him in these characters, right? Like, whenever he was in Game of Thrones, I remember thinking to myself, I was like, I would love to punch that guy in the face for talking to Arya Stark like that. And now I'm like, he's just trying to do his job, you guys.
I'm like, look at that jawline. Like, come on, Arya. Like, stop.
In my mind, if I had watched Time Wasters, I'd have been like, Ralph is a fucking creep, you guys. Like, please. Good. I'm glad he went to the military. He needs to get straightened out. Now I'm like, oh my God, he was just in love. And
Laura, the way you said that, straightened out, dude's clearly gay.
What?
Like, he needs to get straightened out.
No, but wait. Was he gay or was he like a... Because he was in love with Lauren.
Yeah, but I think he thought that was a boy.
Really?
Because
Did I miss that?
That was a quote that was like on TikTok saying like, yeah, once he figures out you're not a boy.
But that was like a joke. That was like a joke from the other guys in the quartet, in the jazz quartet, right?
Oh, I thought he was gay because he's super flamboyant and like goofy. Like I thought he was playing a gay guy.
No.
No, I don't think so.
No?
I think he's just, I think he's just like very wealthy and like very maybe he's like a bisexual boy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You do a little bit of both, I've met many a bisexual man that kind of lean more heavily on the gay side so maybe it's a little bit of both, because he was very much into Lauren. But
what does he say? L is for Lauren, my lady, love you. That's all I remember.
I want to hear
so
his
good.
real singing voice, because I know he was like putting that on, just like, my lady, love you. But like, it almost sounded like he could sing well, because he was on key and everything.
Yeah.
I need to talk to you about this real quick. Have you guys fallen into the hole on TikTok where people are starting to play songs that sound like Joe?
Yeah.
And then the song is ruined? Like Kings of Leon, Sex
Kings
on
of
Fire.
Leon, Sex on Fire.
100% Eddie is singing to me.
I don't hear that. It's the other one. That one sounds like Joe.
Yes.
That sounds like Joe.
Which one is that?
Keep them coming.
We'll revisit this. This
Yes,
next
we'll
week, because I'm very interested.
I won't include that segment, but if it comes back on TikTok, I'll send it to you guys, because at least Danielle knows what I'm talking about, but you might have not seen it yet, Laura. But every time it comes up, I'm like, this sounds like Joe. Like,
How do we feel? I mean, this was a really good. I think we did a really good job this week, you guys. Pat yourself on the back. And I think
I could have kept talking about this for hours. I am so passionate about this. I force theories onto my family and friends at any given moment.
so good. Another thing we're going to be able to talk about next week is all the content from the expo.
I can't wait until Thursday. Listen, I'm like a little kid before Christmas.
and he's there the whole weekend, right?
He's there the whole weekend, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Because he was only going to be there Saturday and Sunday, but they just announced a few days ago that he's staying Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh, man. You know what's funny is my background is in hotels. I do not want to imagine what it would be like to like be like the security team and the sales team that put together that room block for his like people, and like all the logistics of like getting him in and out and all that stuff. I mean, come on.
They better have that boy on lockdown, because if I hear about anybody breaking into that hotel,
bothering him, I will have to bring out the big heavy silver hammer and
electric chair.
calm your shit.
You've been excommunicated from the Quinn-tessentials fandom.
Yes.
That's right. So go ahead and follow us on social.
you have a official handle across all platforms that we're active on our socials. You can find us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram right now. And it is at the Quinn Pod.
Quinn, baby. Quinn. I mean, we're really excited that you're here. Go ahead and follow us. My handle is Laura at Laura Vanessa with an H after Laura and an H after Vanessa. Laura Vanessa on its own wasn't available, so you gotta get creative with it. But I am on TikTok and I am on Instagram. Shannon, take it away, baby.
My handle on TikTok is What's Up Shannon.
Hey.
It's funny, I actually didn't put my Instagram handle like in the last episode yet. Y'all still found me somehow. So
Same.
Yep.
My Instagram handle is Starry Eyes, like the Motley Crue song, but with 2 Y's. Starry Eyes.
Nice. And Miss Danielle.
My Instagram is Miss Danielle, Danyell, and then my TikTok is D Young, Deee Young.
Yes.
We're so grateful that you came back, and if it's your first episode listening to us, then thank you so much for coming. Trucking along, ladies. I'm so proud of us.
Yes.
Oh, can we real quick before we go? We have received a lot of love for episode 1.
Absolutely.
So much love.
It has been amazing. I am legitimately speechless at how well received the first episode was. So I mean, if you notice that we're a little bit more confident this episode and we have just kind of leaned into it, is because you guys have given us that confidence. You've made us feel so good about what we did, and so yeah, hopefully you enjoy this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. So come back next week.
Yes. We'll see you guys in the upside down.
We'll be down in the upside down.
We love you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
We love you guys. Bye.